So we now have the race of Molesey Boat Club versus Tideway Scullers in the Britannia Cup. That's for fours, and you may see the little cots lying down steering in the front of the boat. Molesey Boat Club are on the left of the screen on what's known as the Berkshire station, and Tideway Scullers with their very distinctive yellow and red blades are on the Buck station on the right of the screen. And these very few tense moments before the start, Annie.
Yeah, they'll be just focusing now on that first stroke, then the second stroke, then the third, and really not thinking about the rest of the course. See, the Cox has got his hand up in both boats, just saying they're not quite straight, they're not quite ready, signalling to the umpire. You can see the Tideway Scullers boat on the right just straightening up on the line there. And that's a wonderful shot there, isn't it, Martin? I'm sure you've been in this position a lot of times.
Yeah, and gives you real goosebumps, and it's great to see that both crews got off to a clean start. It's been very interesting to see the crew on the Buckinghamshire station, that's on the right of your screen, just maybe come over a little bit closer to their opposition on the Berkshire. We're looking at Molesey on the Berkshire as they wind through the gears up to their maximum speed. How do you read that takeoff, Annie?
Yeah, looked pretty clean, looked pretty good from both the crews there. Both these clubs with a good heritage in this event. Tideway Scullers having won it in 2010 and Molesey taking this trophy away in 2008. So it really is a grudge match here today.
Billy Fields, you can see nearest to you the stroke of the Tideway Scullers Cox 4. He's been a finalist here in the quadruple sculls in the Prince of Wales, and look at that fantastic camera shot. Well, that's probably a 2-metre lead for Tideway Scullers on this near side. It's really nip and tuck at the moment, but Billy Fields there with the glasses closest to you, leading his boat out.
This is the true joy of match racing here. You can see these two crews are stroke for stroke. Just saw a few glances across there from the Tideway Scullers crew, seeing what the Molesey are doing, but they don't really need to look. There's only one other boat in it. They're either going to win it, they're going to lose it. They'll know exactly where they are.
So we're coming into the first minute of this race, and I think Molesey on the far side have just come back a little bit. You see there a shot of Lee Rawlings in the two-seat of the Molesey crew. That's two from the right of your screen. Warwick University took a first in economics last year, just rode at Molesey in their programme this year, and I think Molesey are getting into their stride a little bit now. Would you say that's a key move? Molesey have just moved through the Scullers for a little bit.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's important to remember the first minute or so of the race is very anaerobic. You're just sprinting, your body's just functioning without really thinking too much about it. Then the next section is key. It's where the crews will settle down, they'll find their race rhythm, and the body will start working much more aerobically, using all the oxygen, the red blood cells whizzing around the body. So this is the moment that you really almost put your boat into fifth gear, put the accelerator down and just see what happens. And it looks like Molesey have really got an edge there, every single stroke moving away.
So there's a shot just two from the front of the screen. Dan Dalmao actually is trialling for Brazil in their Olympic squad. The guy with the moustache and the beard is rowing behind Billy Fields and Richard Chambers. There's a shot from our great camera in the 40 medals around about the halfway mark of the Molesey Four. I think they're going through one of the first key checkpoints on the Henley course. It's the barrier. It's a little gate that you go through if you're going up the bank. And I think those crews are absolutely dead level at the moment, Annie.
Yeah, this is shaping up to a real great race here. Cox Fours, really traditional event here, really classic racing. In fact, a boat with which you're very familiar, Martin, having won the Olympics in 1984 in this very boat. No longer in the Olympic programme, but still at club level, this is one of the key boats that people want to row in.
Absolutely, and I have to say that I'm very nervous about this race. Tideway Scullers is my son's club, and I've got great affiliation with them. Of course, Molesey is my club too, so the heart rate is even higher than it would be. But I think Scullers look very smooth, coached by Tom Gale, of course, the former British international. They've been doing their training down in Breve, as they do before they come into the big season rowing. And as they come through to the 4-lead halfway checkpoint, it looks like Molesey have a few feet lead on the far side over Tideway Scullers, if that.
Oh, that is close though. That is really close.
So Annie, as we come through to that halfway checkpoint with Tideway Scullers, it looks like just a 2 or 3 feet lead. These are the Molesey boys. What's going through their heads at the moment? I mean, they've worked to try and get a lead. It hasn't happened. What are the tactics that both crews are going to adopt?
I think in every race, you always go out thinking this is going to be a race to the last stroke. If we have to win up the last stroke, it takes that long, that's fine, we can do it. Mentally, you have to prepare yourself for this going the whole way. And if this race does go the whole way, it's going to be incredibly painful for the guys because there's nowhere to hide. Match racing, it's one-on-one, you're either a front. Once you're behind, the game's pretty much over. The other crew's going to wash you down, there's going to be a lot of bounce in the water. But at the moment, goodness me, this is proper hand in the fire stuff. This is eyeball to eyeball. This is a question of who's tough enough.
So we're looking at Tideway Scullers, the crew closest to us with the red and yellow blades. They are in the lead, and they have taken a crucial half-length lead at around about 4.5 minutes. These races being rode into a headwind, and it looks like Tideway Scullers have made a killer move there from Molesey, the crew at the top of your screen. Just to run through the Tideway Scullers crew at bow: Murray Wilcock, Danny Dalmayer at 2, Richard Chambers at 3, stroke Billy Fields. There's the Molesey crew, closer to you, stroke Rupert Graham. Before him, Sam By. Then it's Lee Rawlings at 2, and in the bow, Andy Warren and Eleanor Willits Cox. And of course, Roulade McPhee, the Tideway Scullers Cox. And Scullers have made a crucial lead with what, probably about 2.5, 3 minutes left of this race, Annie.
Yeah, this is a wonderful shot, though. You can just see the joy of match racing from this view. You know, these are two crews going toe to toe, and just looking at the faces of the Tideway Scullers crew versus what we just saw on the Molesey crew there, you know, the guys are looking much more composed, feeling much more confident now, and I'll be surprised if Molesey can come back from this. But of course, anything can happen. It's a slow race, it's a Cox 4, it's a heavy boat, and it's a headwind.
Of course, Tideway Scullers, one of these selected crews, and you just saw a little look across from the Tideway Scullers Cox. He probably has to look behind him because Tideway Scullers are leading Molesey. I guess it's around about a length at the moment, but perhaps, well, it could be that Molesey might have a sprint as they come up into the enclosures. We're looking at the massive grandstands in the stewards' enclosures with the packed crowds, and you can see from that shot there, Tideway Scullers definitely in the lead, around about one length. How possible is it for Molesey to come back from this, Annie?
Anything can happen in sport. Anything can happen at all. Particularly this Scullers crew, they could make a mistake. They could drop an oar. But at the moment, you know, if you're a betting person, you put your money on Scullers.
Well, we have seen at least 2 oar blades drop off because of the high temperatures. Neither of these crews are using the particular blades that had the problem. But Billy Fields, he stroked that beautifully as he comes down, real calm under pressure. His face, you couldn't really tell the immense effort he's pushing in on it.
Yeah, and that's the key to a great rower, is that particularly at stroke, you want someone who's just going to keep going like a train. Really isn't going to worry, going to stress about anything. He's just going to keep pumping out those strokes for metre after metre after metre right down this 2,112 metre course.
So we're coming into the finish. You can hear the crowds applauding the stewards' enclosure behind the umpires' launch, with umpire Mike Williams at the centre of that launch, looking out to see that both crews keep on the fair course. And Tideway Scullers, if anything, are moving fractionally away from Molesey. I would say that lead is just over a length, Annie. As they come along the enclosures, there's probably something like 45, 50 seconds to go, and they've got clear water. And it's really all or nothing now for the men in black from Molesey Boat Club.
I'm guessing Molesey's going to be throwing everything at it at this moment, still trying to put pressure on Scullers. If they can get to within a length, they can still put pressure on them, might force them to make a mistake. And for Scullers, they're just going to be holding on, holding on, holding on.
So there is Tideway Scullers cross the line just over a length and a half ahead of Molesey, who are going to be desperately disappointed, but there'll be elation in the Tideway Scullers boat. That's Murray Wilcox, Dan Dalmayer, the Brazilian, Richard Chambers, and then William Fields at stroke. Great result.